So some people are into watching sports. For instance, my dad loved watching football growing up. I stopped watching football probably around 2015. Some people like watching hockey, baseball. Those are big sports here, soccer. And they follow a team. As a runner, I'm actually interested in following running of all sports. It's one of the hardest to follow though. So everything from, sprints, 800s, milers, 5K runners, 10K on the track, then road races, right? The marathon majors, but even those are hard to follow sometimes. I don't think I've ever had a TV channel that will broadcast, for instance, the Tokyo Marathon, despite being one of the marathon majors. I'm not sure Chicago Marathon gets broadcast here in the United States, maybe locally in Chicago, which I'm sure is a big enough market to pay the salaries required for the best marathoners. But then, I love trail running. I love watching trail running. I wish I had the ankles for it still. When I was younger, I could have, but I wasn't into running then. I was into karate. Not watch a good fight on TV if it's on, right? But I'm not going to follow the fighters. So trail running, I like to follow the Golden Trail series. It's nice and fast. Sky running when it's on YouTube, so a lot of this can be followed on YouTube. Some of it can't, but we come up, we have comrades for ultras, we have the JFK 50, which hasn't done the best broadcasting on YouTube, but this past year was better, right? Western States and UTMB are the pinnacle of YouTube publishing of the race, and they become very popular races, 100-milers, because of that. And then there's Berkley, which takes the opposite, making it as hard as possible to follow. The only time I open Twitter, now I guess it's called X now, is once a year, whenever they decide when Berkeley's going to happen. To make it hard to follow, they keep it secret when it's going to be. Even the racers only find out when a horn blows and they know it's time to go run. And traditionally, nobody finishes. But this past year, we had, 3 finishers? Maybe 5. The first woman finisher, pretty awesome. And the year before, we had finishers too. And usually when there's a finisher, the race director then revises the course to make it impossible again so that people can push themselves, right, in the sport. But we're at a point where maybe making it harder isn't enough, because people are training specifically for it. They have professional crews, professional training. A lot more fast runners are participating in the sport. People who are great college track athletes, 10K runners, marathoners on the road, moving over and taking seriously their training on the trails. So I don't know. So do I have a prediction? So March or April, whenever it comes up, Berkeley, my prediction is that there's going to be at least one finisher again. I don't think Lazarus can make it hard enough to beat the training without seriously changing the whole thing, right? Because there was a time when he put out things that were impossible. A time when the people running ultras might have had experience with sports. Maybe they were baseball players in high school or something, right? And they find that maybe they would have been good track stars, right? Some people with a little bit of track experience, like Scott Jurek, just dominated back in the 90s, early 2000s. But yeah, at this point, if you're not a fast don't have fast legs on a track, you're probably not going to be a professional trail runner of any sort. You know, used to be people who loved thru hiking the Appalachian Trail would come and dominate these big races, but not anymore, right? So my prediction is somebody's going to finish again this year. I don't know who. Might not be the same runners, because it's still hard, still an impossible thing, but people can train for the impossible now, because the body is more amazing than we ever thought.